Hey, after our summit, which successfully concluded last February 22 to the 26th. And of course, again, for those who are listening or watching from different time zones, good morning or good evening. My name is Marilyn, founder and CEO of Customized Training Solutions, or CTS Private Limited. And we are passionate about helping leaders and organizations transform and thrive by co-creating a customized program with the help of our world-class resources. And why our clients choose us and what makes us different is because we provide world-class experts with a well combination of practical and training experience. And of course, we've been receiving a lot of comments, testimonials saying and mentioning about our customer centricity, our passion, unreserved attention, and responsiveness. And because we tailor a lot of the programs into an experiential program that are co-created with our clients and partners, that ensures our clients cost efficiency, relevance, and impact as well. So just our clients includes Petronas, Sony Mobile, PruLife UK, Ayala Group, Chevron, Tencent, Jollibee Foods Corporation, and Shell, just to name a few. And for today, I'm really excited to have Elle back. I mean, she gave us like a lot of wonderful insights during our summit as one of the panelists. And it's my pleasure to have her today for this interview on leadership and transformation. Elle Quan is a techpreneur, international presenter, speaker, and author. Elle's recent startup, Medhyve, is an award winning B2B digital marketplace that provides transparent, efficient, and cost effective sourcing of medical supplies in developing markets. Elle holds a Master of Management in Business Management and is an alumna of the Women Entrepreneur Development Program by Procter& Gamble. She is the founding member of Singapore Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Execom of Asia Pacific, Assistive Robotic Association, and a member of ASEAN Responsible and Inclusive Business Alliance, where we're together, and an international peace ambassador of the Global Prosperity and Peace Initiative. So without so much further ado, I'd like to bring in Elle. Hi, Elle.
Hello, Marilyn. Good afternoon, and good afternoon to everyone with us today and in different time zones.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us another piece of your time. I mean, I know you're very busy having all this happening, your business and all those stuff. So I am really glad that you take time on an International Women's Day to be with
Oh,
us.
yes. Happy Women's Day to you.
Yes, and to you too, and to everyone who's listening, happy International Women's Day today.
Yes, we
And so
celebrate women.
yes, true, true. And so today we'll be discussing on leadership and transformation, and I'll jump into the questions. So to start with, so that they would know, like, from which perspective are you coming from, and like from what's your influence and experience like. So please do share with us your leadership experience, influence, why you're leading this way, and why you will answer it that way.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share. So, I've been consulting for events and media companies on their B2B events for several years. So, this means I have to plant myself into their existing team and work with them to achieve a set of goals for a particular project. So, domain knowledge is important for the team to give you, an initial level of respect at the start, but for me, it's the way you deal with the daily grind that shows everyone what kind of player you are. So, accountability, clear communication, and team spirit are important things to start with. So, in terms of influencers, I would have two in my topmost list. And first, I would mention Lee Kuan Yew, the founding father of Singapore. So he has a clear vision of how Singapore would have to be like after a few decades, and he's a really good visionary. And also his incorrupt nature, which played a big part in shaping Singapore into one of the least corrupt nations today. I think that's an attribute that's worth celebrating as well. And then he did not hang on to power. He knew when to step aside. So he knew when it was time to give the next empowered generation to start their journey.
Mhm.
So that's one. And my next influencer would be a man who lived 2,000 years ago, whose teachings are still followed all over the world. So his name is Jesus. And he was really laser focused on his mission, even with distractions. He built an A team and empowered them to continue the mission. He wasn't a command and control type of leader, more of a kindness, goodness, and patience type of leader. And all these things still working on until now. And I think it's also important that he focused on growing his team in terms of character. And this enabled them to continue and move on to the mission and create achievements after that.
Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing with us. I've actually included, I hope I spelled it right, Lee Kuan Yew and Jesus as your influencer. And I think it's really like, I believe it's really like helpful that, when you believe in Jesus or in God, then that really like, helps you all the way in terms of how you lead with, your team and you live your life. Like you've mentioned, it's not just about, leading now or
Yes, that's
it or
true.
for the purpose of the title, but rather it's the daily grind. I mean, the daily
Yes,
things that you do, right?
yes. But after
Yes,
the daily grind, you always have that purpose, a higher purpose, a bigger purpose that keeps you moving.
true, true. And we live up that, that one. I mean, that's the reason why we keep up. Yeah. So,
Yep,
what is leadership for you in that case? How would you define leadership, having said that?
right. So leadership is really influencing others to work coherently towards a shared vision. And really, it's that being a good and strong influencer.
Mhm. Yes, a lot of influence there, and which
Right.
I agree with you, right? So, and the next questions leave us to like because a lot of changes have happened in the recent years. I mean, so what and how would you define and describe the next normal then?
Oh, yes. So everybody's just talking about the new normal, the next normal. I think the current normal, because it will continue to change, is one where technology enables more efficient ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm,
Think about robots and AI and all of these innovations that we hear in the news right now.
mm-hmm,
I think the new normal will be led by those who understand what's next and
mm-hmm,
build something to fill the gap. And of course, you'll hear all this. This is very common nowadays. People say it's a VUCA world, right? It's a volatile,
mm-hmm,
uncertain, complex, ambiguous world. For me, yes, the next normal is all that. Plus, it's also a world of opportunities. I believe that everything changing, all these things changing, the landscape is evolving. It's actually the best time to catch a good wave and be a leader in an industry, a segment, or a niche. So it's a good time to disrupt and shake those that hasn't been disrupted yet.
mm-hmm. Thank you, thank you. And I think you've also mentioned that during the summit that you have to continuously imagine and continuously close that gap, right? That
Yes.
that people are actually facing. So, what do you believe will take to navigate this crisis now that the traditional metrics and assumptions have been rendered irrelevant in this world, like you mentioned?
Okay, so I recently learned about a concept from
Mm-hmm,
business futurist Charlie Ang from a book by Nassim Nicholas Taleb. So it's a concept of anti-fragile entrepreneurial mindset. I was actually blown away when I heard this concept. And so we always hear about being resilient, right? We've heard this. And in crisis, they say, be resilient. But really, being resilient means you resist the shocks and you stay the same. Now, being anti fragile means you get better with the shocks. So, by definition, anti fragile is something that benefits from shocks. They thrive and grow when exposed to volatility, randomness, disorder, and stressors. So I think this is really a secret that we should understand, that in this timing of crisis, we should be anti-fragile. You know, we should really be able to just take on the shocks and be better after it.
Right. I love that. I mean, we're supposed to learn from mistakes and the crisis, because I remembered one of our speakers made mention about that, the definition of crisis in Chinese character, that it could be, how do you define it again? You're Chinese, you will better define
I'm
it.
so sorry. I'm the wrong person to ask. I might give you the wrong information. We can ask the viewers to educate us better on this.
Yes, I think if I remember it correctly, he's also Singaporean Chinese to be exact. Jeremiah, he mentioned that the Chinese character of crisis actually means, like, on top of crisis, on the other side is it gives you like opportunity. So, like you've also mentioned in the anti fragile concept, it's
Yes. Always
get
an opportunity. Correct.
and
That's
making
right.
this difficulties an opportunity for you to, like, step up.
Exactly. So
Yes.
with these crises, actually, there's so many gaps that come up. So it's
Mhm.
really up to you to keep your eyes open and jump on these opportunities. It's a great way to pull ahead during during a crisis. So people
Correct.
see it as a negative, but for visionary leaders, I think they always see it as a chance to look where are the gaps and then jump on it.
Right. And so, having said that, what do you think, or what are the important leadership capabilities or skill you must have in this next normal to be able to continue to lead effectively?
Okay. For me, I think it's really important for a leader to keep a vision, because
Mhm.
the vision, once you have set it, will keep you going no matter what you face in the present. You know that the present is not forever. So with a vision in mind, you will keep moving on. But then it's also important to have clarity, because clarity will then help you to move in the right direction. So, I think these two are very important things to hold on right now as leaders in the next normal, the new normal, however people call it. It's really to have a vision and clarity.
Thank you for that. And yeah, I think it's really important for you to be able to know what you want, what your vision is,
Correct.
right? Even
Yes.
if
Because if
there
you don't, you'll just be tossed around.
exactly.
So you have to keep a vision, and then you have to be clear that, okay, I was derailed this time, but then I have a vision and I'm clear about it. So I know the next step to take. See? So you don't take a step away from your vision, but really going to your vision. So I think in this world of complexity and volatility, those two are very important.
Yes. And it's good to know as well that, when you say you have to be focused, you have to know your vision, and you have to be clear about it. It doesn't have to be like, um, not being able to be flexible enough as well to change
Yeah.
your direction, right?
Entirely accurate. So people think, some people may mistakenly think that having a vision, you're not flexible. It's actually the opposite. When you have a vision, you can be flexible, because you didn't write it down on step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It means that you're getting there, and there may be different paths, and maybe in the different paths you take, you probably will get lost, you probably will take the wrong path, but as long as you have a clear destination, then you know where to go next. So I don't think it's inflexibility. It's actually giving you more flexibility and agility when you have a
Yeah.
vision to work with.
True. I agree with you, and that's important for them to know. Not not because you have like a vision, that doesn't mean that you can be flexible. And again, like you've mentioned, you have just this clear destination where you want to be, and
Correct.
at the same time be able to adjust your path along
Right.
the way, right? When
Right.
there are like issues, problems, or any anything as such,
Yes.
challenges.
You don't
It's
just stay there and say, "Oh no, I did not know this." See.
true, true. Thank you so much for giving us clarity on that. And so, what do you believe is the role of leadership and transformation in being able to thrive in the next normal? I mean, in our recently concluded summit, you
Mhm.
are part of the panel where you talk about thriving in the next
Right.
normal.
Mm.
So, what do you believe are the roles of is the role of leadership and transformation to be able to thrive in this
Right.
next?
Okay. So I think leaders must continue to inspire
Mhm.
and push their team to imagine. And I've been talking about imagining because you have to imagine the future so that you know what to do, where to position yourself. But as
Mhm.
well, leaders must equip and empower their teams
Mhm.
to get to that imagined destination.
Yes, true, true. And I what I got from what you said, it's all about empowering and encouraging your team to be able to, get to that imagined
Yes, the
that
imagined future. Yes.
yes, yes. Thank you for that. And so if you were to ask yourself a question that, you can best answer, this is actually my I would say a Miss Universe question.
Ah, okay.
So, if you were to ask yourself a question that you can best answer, what would it be?
Right.
And possibly, expand on it by saying or by sharing with us why.
Okay, so that would be related to the space where I'm working at. So I'd probably ask myself, how did you envision the future of healthcare using technology? And my answer would be, I actually envision the world, particularly in hospitals in developing markets, where they are able to procure medical supplies
Mhm.
efficiently. So that means faster, better, cheaper way of buying medical supplies. And this is the reason why my startup was born, which is Medhyve. So we have an online market space with AI capabilities. And you know why we do that? It's so that providers, doctors and nurses can go back to their core purpose, and that is to provide quality healthcare. And with this little project called Medhive, we are able to impact society and contribute to better healthcare outcomes. So that's the future.
That's great. I mean, it's good that you've shared that with us, because I believe that's really important. That you envision something and you make it a reality. I mean, nowadays we've always stressed out several times that the importance of technology and digital transformation, not just because of a product, but rather to be able to enable people, like in your case, to for to provide quality products at the most cost efficient way, right?
Yes, and impacting healthcare is also something very close to my heart, and I'm happy that I'm serving that industry now.
Yes, and thank you for that as well. I mean, that's really like a huge challenge in the last year, being able to I remember like during the first few months of COVID, where like people can't even like have masks, and now it's a requirement, mask and face shield, and even medications or vitamins that you have to take when you have COVID, or to prevent COVID, right?
Yep,
So
yep, that's right.
yeah, it's really like a great amazing vision and amazing
Thank
company
you.
that you are
Thank you.
into right now. So with that, I really thank you for this very short and sweet direct
Thank
to
you,
the point
Marilyn.
interview with you. If there's anything more that you'd like to share with our audience or would like to add in terms of our discussion, feel free to let us know.
I'm just thankful and I truly appreciate the work you're doing for, helping people to share their views, and then giving these leaders, that's your audience, a platform to learn about many different ways of people viewing leadership. So more power to you and the team.
Ay, yay. Thank you so much, Elle, for that. And before we end this interview, I just wanted to share with them, because of the International Women's Day, we're actually came up with a promotion this whole month, for us to be able to support our partner with with our partnership on women on a mission, to be able to support Big Sister Mentorship Program, which helps women and girls who are from dysfunctional families on several programs like back to school, parenting talks, counseling, self development sessions, practical life skills, and confidence building projects. Through these promotions, and of course, that doesn't really end with just having a donation, but also to invest in them, to encourage them and empower them to invest in themselves, through the amazing program that we had recently in the summit. So yeah, thank you so much for this opportunity to have you, and yes, looking forward to our coffee date on Wednesday.
Thank you, and happy Women's Day to all the women in the world. More power to
Yes,
us.
yes. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you. Bye for now, Elle.